The Cask of Amontillado by Edgar Allan Poe. The thousand injuries of Fortunato I had borne as I best could, but when he ventured upon insult, I vowed revenge. You, who so well know the nature of my soul, will not suppose, however, that I gave utterance to a threat. At length, in time, I would be avenged. This was a point definitively settled, but the very definitiveness with which it was resolved precluded the idea of risk. I must not only punish, but punish with impunity. What does that mean? Yes.
Freedom from penalty or harm.
So I'm going to get him, and I can't be punished for doing it. Okay? I have to get away with it. But there's one more thing for perfect revenge. So I'll tell you now. A wrong is unredressed when retribution overtakes its redresser. It is equally unredressed when the avenger fails to make himself felt as such to him who has done the wrong. So to get perfect revenge, you have to hurt someone, you can't get caught, and what's the third thing? They have to... No, it was you. Anonymous revenge is not good. You want perfect revenge. They have to know, I did this to you. It must be understood that neither by word nor deed had I given Fortunato cause to doubt my goodwill. I continued, as was my wont, to smile in his face, and he did not perceive that my smile now was at the thought of his immolation. Oh, yes, I want him dead. He had a weak point, this Fortunato, although in other regards he was a man to be respected and even feared. He prided himself on his connoisseurship in wine. Now, what is connoisseurship in wine? Yes,
Knowing a lot about it and being very well educated in that subject.
So, for an Italian, it would mean knowing the region the wine came from, what year it was, what vintner who produced this wine, bottled this wine. And they would be able to tell that not by reading the bottle, but by actually sipping it. They would know all these things. And what wines go with which foods, all the wine pairings. There's a lot to know about wine. Few Italians have the true virtuoso spirit. For the most part, their enthusiasm is adopted to suit the time and opportunity, to practice imposture upon the British and Austrian millionaires. In painting and gemmery, which would be like diamonds, Fortunato, like his countrymen, was a quack. So they don't know about fine art, and they may not know about diamonds and rubies and things like that. But in the matter of old wines, he was sincere. In this respect, I did not differ from him material. I was skillful in the Italian vintages myself, and bought largely whenever I could. So what do we have in common, you and I?
We're both lavish.
On what? What topic?
Buying things?
What kind of things?
Wine.
Wine. We know our wines. It was about dusk one evening during the supreme madness of the carnival season that I encountered my friend. What is carnival? What is it?
Festival.
Of what?
Fasting period of Lent.
Before the fasting of Lent. So what's that last Tuesday before Ash Wednesday? Mardi Gras or Fat Tuesday. It's Fat Tuesday. He accosted me with excessive warmth, for he had been drinking much. The man wore motley. No. He had on a tight-fitting party-striped dress, and his head was surmounted by the conical cap and bells. I was so pleased to see him that I thought I should never have done wringing his hand. Good to see you, Fortunato. I said to him, dear Fortunato, you are luckily met. How remarkably well you are looking today. But I have received a keg of what passes for Amontillado, and I have my doubts.
How? Amontillado. A pipe? Impossible. And in the middle of the carnival?
I have my doubts, and I was silly enough to pay the full Amontillado price without consulting you in the matter. You were not to be found, and I was fearful of losing a bargain.
Amontillado.
I have my doubts.
Amontillado.
I must satisfy them.
Amontillado.
As you are engaged, you are busy. I am on my way to Lucchese. If anyone has a critical turn, it is he. He will tell me.
Lucchese cannot tell Amontillado from Sherry.
And yet some fools will have it that his taste is a match for your own.
Come on, let's go.
Whither?
To your vaults.
My friend, no. I will not impose upon your good nature. I perceive you have an engagement. Lucchese?
I have no engagement. Come.
My friend, no. It is not the engagement, but the severe cold with which I perceive you are afflicted. So I've noticed you have a really bad cold. The vaults are insufferably damp. They are encrusted with nitre.
Let us go, nevertheless. The cold is merely nothing. Amontillado, you have been imposed upon. And as for Lucchese, he cannot distinguish Sherry from Amontillado.
Thus speaking, Fortunato possessed himself of my arm. Putting on a mask of black silk and drawing a requilare close about my person, I suffered him to hurry me to my palazzo. Now let's sit down for a minute and talk about this. I have done something very clever here. I have found a weakness in the person I don't like. And what is your weakness?
My weakness?
Mm-hmm. Your character's weakness.
I have no engagement.
Oh, you have an engagement. You are guilty of one of the 7 deadly sins.
I'm prided upon myself.
Yeah, you're very prideful. Isn't that one of the 7 deadly sins? Yeah. And so his weakness is his pride. His pride in what? His knowledge of vino. Yes. And as somebody setting a trap, I have a carrot. You know the idea of a donkey and a carrot, how you dangle a carrot? What do you think I'm using as my carrot? No, that's the bait. No, it's a man. Lucchese is the carrot. The bait is the wine. I keep telling you, right? There's wine down here, and I may have been taken advantage of. And you can't stand the thought of that. You want to tell me, oh yeah, it's not the real deal. You got schnookered. You want to be able to tell me that. But I'm using the carrot of Lucchese. Every time I think you might be tempted to back away from my trap, I start dangling Lucchese out there, right? Oh, Lucchese will tell me, and you can't stand that because you don't like Lucchese. You think you're a better man, especially in wines, okay? So, there were no, oh wait, I forgot one thing. Who invited whom down to the catacombs? Did I invite him?
I invited myself. I just won't.
You just said, let's go.
Yeah.
Take me there. Let's go. All right. There were no attendants at my home. They had absconded. They'd run away to make merry in honor of the time. After all, it is Fat Tuesday, right? People are partying in the streets. I had told them that I should not return until the morning, and had given them explicit orders not to stir from the house. These orders were sufficient, I well knew, to ensure their immediate disappearance, one and all, as soon as my back was turned. Do y'all know what reverse psychology is? Yes. Did he use it on them? He did. But there's evil genius here. Very evil genius. What in the world is he thinking when he tells his men, his servants, not to leave the house, and they do? What's he thinking? What's the benefit for him in this? Yes.
He has a greater chance of not getting home.
Exactly. And if my victim is actually missed, and the police, somebody on the street sees us together, right? And the police come to my palazzo. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to ask the servants what was going on at the house, right? What was going on at the palazzo last night? And what do you think the servants are going to say?
I wasn't there.
Oh, no. If you snuck out of your house without permission, you would confess the very next day to Mom and Dad? Only if caught. What are they going to say?
Nothing.
My
Yes.
parents wouldn't know if I snuck
Nothing
out. They
happened.
would catch.
Not a thing happened. I was here all night, right? I was here all night and I didn't see a thing. Well, they didn't see anything because they weren't there. But they're not going to confess that because that might get them fired from their jobs, right? So it's the perfect scenario. Do you think this just happened this way? Like it just magically fell into place for Montresor? What does this indicate? You heard the word premeditation. What does that mean? Pre means before. Meditate is to
Calm yourself.
think about it. So he's been planning this for a long time. And he knew the perfect night to put this into effect. Mardi Gras night, when you're dressed up and you've had too much to drink. All right. So now you've invited yourself there. I took from their sconces 2 flambeaux, and giving one to Fortunato, I bowed him through several suites of rooms to the archway that led into the vaults. I passed down a long and winding staircase, requesting him to be cautious as he followed. We came at length to the foot of the descent and stood together on the damp ground of the catacombs of the Montresors. The gait of my friend was unsteady. Now, why are you walking so unsteadily?
Because I drink too much.
And the bells upon his cap jingled as he strode.
The pipe said,
It is further on, but observe the white webwork that gleams from these cavern walls. He turned toward me and looked into my eyes with 2 filmy orbs that distilled the rim of intoxication.
Niter.
Niter.
Not niter.
Niter, how long have you had that cough? Now have a coughing attack.
It's fall down.
My poor friend found it impossible to reply for many minutes.
It's nothing.
Come, we will go back. Your health is precious. You are rich, respected, admired, beloved. You are happy as once I was.
I was never rich.
Now, what have we just found out about?
He's rich.
He used to be. Did you
But
hear
he-
that past tense?
But he's not anymore because he spent all his money on
Well, we
wine,
don't know what
probably.
financial problems he ran
parties
into.
and stuff like that.
You are man to be missed. For me, it is no matter. We will go back. You will be ill, and I cannot be responsible. Besides, there is Lucchese.
Is Lucchese a place?
Person.
Enough. The cough is mere nothing. It will not kill me. I shall not die of a cough.
Oh, true. True. And indeed, I had no intention of alarming you unnecessarily, but you should use all proper caution. A draught of this maddock will defend us from the damps. And here I knocked off the neck of a bottle that I drew from a long row of its fellows that lay upon the mow. Drink, I said, presenting him the wine. He raised it to his lips with a leer. He paused and nodded to me familiarly while his bells jingled. Now, toast. Here's a toast. You're going to propose it. Put your arm up. Okay?
I drink to the buried that repose us around us.
Do that one more time.
I drink to the buried that repose around us.
So who are you drinking to? Who are you toasting?
To all the people
Who are those people?
dead people.
Who's dead people?
What city is dead?
No.
My dead. Your dead people.
All my dead relatives. We are surrounded by my dead relatives.
Is there one?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Lots. All right.
Sit down, Richard.
And I toast to your long life. He again took my arm and we proceeded.
These vaults are extensive.
The Montresors were a great and numerous family.
I've forgotten your arms.
That means the coat of arms. A huge human foot door, a golden foot, in a field azure. What color is azure?
Blue.
On a blue field. The foot crushes a serpent rampant whose fangs are embedded in the heel. So the foot is stepping on the snake, and the snake is wrapped around with its fangs in the heel. So if you step on me, I will
Kill you.
Kill you.
Yes. Yes.
And the motto?
Mimo mi impune lassacit, which means, in Latin, no one injures me with impunity. Like if you hurt me, I get you back. That's what it means.
Good.
The wine sparkled in his eyes and the bells jingled. My own fancy grew warm with the medic. We had passed through walls of piled bones with casks and puncheons intermingling into the inmost recesses of the catacomb. I paused again, and this time I made bold to seize Fortunato by an arm above the elbow. The nitre, see, it increases. It hangs like moss upon the vaults. Now the nitre looks like spider webs, folks. It's mineral deposits that look like spider webs. Remember that Poe always puts details in that add to the story. So he's telling us, the readers, he's in my web. I've got him trapped. And he continues to talk about the nitre. We are below the river's bed. The drops of moisture trickle among the bones. Come, we will go back ere it is too late. Your cough.
It is nothing. Let us go on, but first another draught of the meadow.
I broke and reached him a bottle of de Grave. He emptied it at a breath. Toss it back like you're drinking it. Boom.
Oh.
And then make a strange little zigzag sign with it, okay? He laughed and threw the bottle upward with a gesticulation, hand movements that I did not understand. I looked at him in surprise. He repeated the movement, a grotesque one.
You do not comprehend?
Not I.
Then you are not of the Brotherhood.
How?
You are not of the Masons.
Well, yes.
You, impossible. A Mason?
Ooh, he just insulted me. He says I'm not part of the men's fraternity. You can't be part of it. That's the big social club. And I'm not part of it. So, are you beginning to see now why maybe I don't like him so much?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Mason, I replied.
A sign?
And that means prove it. You actually said to me, prove it. It is this, I answered, producing a trowel from beneath the folds of my requilor. Now, that's a tool that looks like a pie-shaped, looks like a shape of pie, and with a handle, and you see men laying brick with it. They'll get some mortar on it, they'll spread it out, and they'll place a brick. You've seen that, where people are building houses. So it is a working bricklayer's tool, a mason's tool. Not to be confused with the Freemasons, who were very powerful men at that time. I don't know if you know it, but George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and all the founding fathers pretty much were all Masons, members of the Freemasons. Mozart, my favorite composer in the 1700s, was a member of the Masonic Lodge. So if you are famous, well off, connected, whatever, you are asked to join. I didn't get asked to join, and I don't appreciate it. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Question?
Was Alexander Hamilton asked? I mean,
Ooh, good question, because wasn't he illegitimate? They may have held that against him back then, because your birth was important back then, much more so than today. Okay, go ahead.
You jest? But let us proceed to the Amontillado.
Be it so, I said, replacing the tool beneath the cloak and again offering him my arm. He leaned upon it heavily. Why are you leaning on me so hard? Yes, and remember that. Alcohol makes your reflexes slow and fogs your mind. You do not perceive danger when danger is there if you have had alcohol. Seriously. Yeah. Okay. We continued our route in search of the Amontillado. We passed through a range of low arches, descended, passed on, descending again, and arriving at a deep crypt. Now, are you feeling the walls getting closer? Are you beginning to feel a little claustrophobic?
No.
You should. In which the foulness of the air caused our flambeau rather to glow than flame. There's so little oxygen down there that the flames won't even work. So you've got this kind of, I can't breathe thing going on. At the most remote end of the crypt, there appeared another, less spacious. Its walls had been lined with human remains, piled to the vault overhead in the fashion of the great catacombs of Paris. 3 sides of this interior crypt were still ornamented in this manner. From the fourth, the bones had been thrown down and lay promiscuously upon the earth, forming at one point a mound of some size. Within the wall, thus exposed by the displacing of the bones, we perceived a still interior recess. Now, I want you to listen to the dimensions and tell me what this sounds like. In depth, about 4 feet, so it's 4 feet deep. In width, 3. In height, 6 or 7.
Where's the beam?
About the size.
Grave.
Locust Morgan. So about the size of Martin.
6 feet tall is pretty tall.
Size
It
of
is.
the size of
Is he
Chayton.
6 feet yet?
Or Chayton's 6 feet.
Oh, wait, just
No,
No,
Chayton's
how
6
about
feet.
Ethan Jones? He's like
So,
6
what
feet,
are we
6
saying
foot.
with these comments about who's 6 feet tall?
And
Trying
then
to
I'm like,
picture
It's
Oh,
the size of
Chayton.
a body, a coffin.
A big person.
Only it's not laying down flat like you think of a coffin. It's standing up. That's why I have my niche over here, my little wall niche. You know, that's going to be,
What's
we're
a
going to
niche?
let that represent the niche.
What's a knot?
Okay? Niche. All right. It seemed to have been constructed for no special use within itself, but formed merely the interval between 2 of the colossal supports of the roof of the catacombs, and was backed by one of their circumscribing walls of solid granite. It was in vain that Fortunato, uplifting his dull torch, endeavored to pry into the depth of the recess. Its termination the feeble light did not enable us to see. Proceed, I said. Herein is the Amontillado. As for Lucchese,
He is ignoramus.
ignoramus. Say it again with conviction.
He is ignoramus.
He is an ignoramus.
Oh.
Come on, do it again.
He is an ignoramus.
So your name called him, right? He's an idiot, interrupted my friend as he stepped unsteadily forward while I followed immediately at his heels. So we're going to turn you and we're going to put you in the niche right here. Now you've got to get in the niche right there. Now you're so drunk and impaired that you don't realize the danger that you're in. Now, while you're still trying to figure out, what's going on, meanwhile, I am chaining you. I'm chaining you to the wall. Now stay there for a minute. You won't stay there long because I'm going to need you to do some lines. But that's what you look like. Okay. In an instant, he'd reached the extremity of the niche and, finding his progress arrested by the rock, stood stupidly bewildered. See him? A moment more, and I'd fettered him to the granite. In its surface were 2 iron staples, distanced from each other about 2 feet horizontally. From one of these depended a short chain, and from the other a padlock. Throwing the links about his waist, it was but the work of a few seconds to secure it. He was too much astounded to resist. Withdrawing the key, I stepped back from the recess. Pass your hand, I said, over the wall. You cannot help feeling the nitre. It's my web. Indeed, it is very damp. Once more, let me implore you to return. Now, what am I doing there? And I'm actually taunting him. You recall that phrase? Who's taunting me? So, I'm taunting him. Wouldn't you like to go, huh? Wouldn't you like to leave? Why is that taunting?
He can't leave.
He's chained. Yeah. No? Then I must positively leave you. But I must first render you all the little attentions in my power. Okay, we're going to pretend like he's still there. Come back, because you got to do lines. Take off your chain, because you're going to have to wrestle it here in a minute.
Wrestle.
Yeah, put it right there. Put it right on the front right there. Okay. Now yell this.
Yell it.
Mhm.
The Amontillado.
Said my friend, not yet recovered from his astonishment. True, the Amontillado. As I said these words, I busied myself among the pile of bones of which I have before spoken. Throwing them aside, I soon uncovered a quantity of building stone and mortar. Oh, really? So that just happened to be down there. What does this indicate?
He's making a human copy.
He really is. But what does this tell you about me as a character?
You plan this.
Oh, I've been planning this a while. I've got everything ready. With these materials and with the aid of my trowel, I began vigorously to wall up the entrance of the niche. What am I doing to you?
You're closing me in.
I'm burying you alive. I had scarcely laid the first tier of masonry when I discovered that the intoxication of Fortunato had in a great measure worn off. Now, why do you think his intoxication is wearing off?
Because he's been
Adrenaline. Adrenaline is the naturally produced stimulant that our body, it's our fight or flight internal mechanism, right? It's a stimulant. We know that alcohol is a depressant. So, his fear and all this release of adrenaline is counteracting the alcohol in your system. Okay. The earliest indication I had of this was a low moaning cry from the depth of the recess. It was not the cry of a drunken man. There was then a long and obstinate silence. I laid the second tier and the third and the fourth, and then I heard the furious vibrations of the chain. This noise lasted for several minutes, during which, that I might hearken to it with more satisfaction, I ceased my labors and sat down upon the bones. Now, why am I sitting here?
Because you're done. Because you're done.
No, I'm not finished. Why did I stop?
When the suffer.
Okay, stop for a minute. What am I enjoying?
His death.
His struggles. The struggle of my victim. I want to enjoy it. I ceased my labors and sat down upon the bones. When at last the clanking subsided, I resumed the trowel, and finished without interruption the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh tier. The wall was now nearly upon a level with my breast. I again paused, and holding the flambeau over the mason work, threw a few feeble rays upon the figure within. A succession of loud and shrill screams bursting suddenly from the throat of the chained form seemed to thrust me violently back. For a brief moment I hesitated, I trembled. Unsheathing my rapier, what is that?
A sword.
I began to grope with it about the recess, but the thought of an instant reassured me. I'm not worried. I placed my hand upon the solid fabric of the catacombs and felt satisfied. Nobody's going to hear him. I reapproached the wall. I replied to the yells of him who clamored. I re-echoed. I aided. I surpassed them in volume and in strength. I did this, and the clamorer grew still. Start screaming, and don't stop. Okay. Now, it was now midnight. Of course it is. How could it be a Poe story unless it is midnight? And my task was drawing to a close. I had completed the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th tier. I had finished a portion of the last and the 11th, and there remained but a single stone to be fitted and plastered in. I struggled with its weight. I placed it partially in its destined position. But now, there came from out of the niche a low laugh that erected the hairs upon my head. It was succeeded by a sad voice, which I had difficulty in recognizing as that of the noble Fortunato. The voice said,
A very good joke indeed. An excellent jest. We will have many a rich laugh about it at the plaza. Over our wine.
Now, what's he giving me there?
Say I've had a nice joke.
He's giving me an opportunity to back out, right? Do you think he really thinks it's a joke?
No,
No.
he knows it's...
But he's offering me a way to reverse my position. And we'll just pretend like it was a pretty good joke. The Amontillado!
Yes, the Amontillado. But it's not getting late. Will not they be awaiting us at the palazzo, the lady Fortunato and the rest? Let us be gone.
So you're really trying hard to get loose, right? To be released. Yes. Let us be gone.
For the love of God, Montrezor.
Yes, for the love of God. But to these words I hearkened in vain for reply. I grew impatient. I called aloud, Fortunato! No answer. I called again, Fortunato! No answer still. I thrust a torch through the remaining aperture and let it fall within. There came forth in return only a jingling of the bells. My heart grew sick on account of the dampness of the catacombs. I hastened to make an end of my labor. I forced the last stone into its position. I plastered it up. Against the new masonry, I re-erected the old rampart of bones. For the half of a century, no mortal has disturbed them. In pace requiescat. May he rest in peace. The end. Take your bow. Okay, guys, we need more than that. We worked hard. All right, lights on. Now, I want to call your attention back to that final paragraph. Let's look at that final paragraph because you're finding out a lot of information. That line where he says, my heart grew sick. What's happening there?
It's kind of a good.
You're like, oh.
He's having a moment of conscience. Now think about how human this is. A moment of conscience. And then what does he do?
He's like, nope, done.
It's just damp in here. He made an excuse, right? To go on and do whatever it was he started out to do. Do you think that's a very human thing he did? Do we sometimes make excuses for ourselves, knowing full well we're doing wrong? Of course. Then, you recall that up here I put a picture of the catacombs of Paris. So let me just reinforce that idea again, if I can get my screen to wake up. Think about how long it would take to make that kind of bone pattern on a wall. Is that something you could do quickly, easily? You bet it did. So I want you to think about what would be on the other side of these bones. The guy who is, that would be you, Fortunato, doing what?
Digging out.
Suffocating. You can't dig out. You're chained.
Oh, yeah.
You're chained. So you're over there suffocating and dying while he's putting up this elaborate bone work. Think about that. Think about how gruesome that is. Now, did I get away with this?
Yeah.
How do you know I got away with it?
Because he keeps doing it.
Because they sealed it up and the story ended just like that.
And it was never disturbed, which means they never found
The
the body. No body, no trial. How long ago did I commit this crime? It told you in that last paragraph.
50 years.
50 years ago. So I'm probably at least 70 or 75. I've been a free man, and I know he's dead, and I know I did it. So, was it a successful murder?
Yes.
It was. Did he get his perfect revenge? He did. Let's go back over perfect revenge. You must harm the person. You cannot get caught. And the person must know it was you that did it. Okay? Pretty good, huh? Pretty good. Now, let's go back to what we know about Poe. Poe had one person I would suspect he truly hated. Who was that? John Allen, the foster father. And don't you think, as he is writing the story, he cannot help but think, I wish I could do this to John Allen. But he's a powerless person, isn't he? He has nothing. He feels like he has nothing, and he feels like John Allen, the fortunate John Allen, has everything. I bet you John Allen was a Mason. I'm sure he was. There's no telling what else, we could find out about that particular dynamic relationship if we had the access to the records and could read it. Okay. I'm going to turn the video off now.